solidarity with Kashmiris is demonstrated all over the world. 5th February is a very special day in our history of South Asian subcontinent, with the movement of freedom struggle of Kashmir. I did not take you to the details of history. Rather, Suhail Bashir Counselor, he has given a detailed and wonderful account of the history, past history, present situation, and other friends as well. They have done very well. I am grateful to these friends for their very kind words and rich tribute they paid to my father, who started waging this struggle at the age of 23 in 1957, which continued for more than 15 months and which resulted in the liberation of Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan, a large part of Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. The rest, Indian took this matter to the United Nations, and the ceasefire was observed, and till today it continues to be there. Later on it was converted in LOC, initially for ceasefire line, a temporary arrangement for the ceasefire as reflected in the United Nations papers. Again, without referring to the details of the history, cutting it short, that the South Asian subcontinent was ruled by the Britishers for more than 100 years. Ultimately, it came to end in 1947, which is known as the Great Divide of Subcontinent. It was a result of three-party, tripartite mediation. Indian leadership, under the banner of Indian Congress, Pakistani leadership, under the banner of Qaid-e-Azam and Muslim League, and facilitated by Great Britain. So tripartite negotiations resulted in the freedom and independence of Pakistan and India. It is our independence is negotiated independence, consensus independence. It is known as 3rd June Plan, Lord Mountbatten's plan. It has a wonderful history of negotiated settlement, which was applied on 562 states of India. It should automatically have applied, it was supposed to have applied equally on Kashmir, and the things would have been settled then and there. But unfortunately, India, after having negotiated and accepted the Mountbatten's plan, did not allow Kashmiris to exercise their right. I have been introduced by my friends as the former Prime Minister. It is a great honor. But the bigger honor is that I belong to a party which is the first political platform of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, established in 1932. This party had complete majority in 1936, a year before the independence of Pakistan and India, having won all seats reserved for the Muslims in the state of Jammu and Kashmir Assembly. So 3 weeks before the creation of Pakistan, according to the Lord Mountbatten's plan, they passed a resolution of accession of the state of Jammu and Kashmir with Pakistan. Later on, the same theme was carried out by the United Nations Security Council. The same principle would apply to the Kashmiris. The same right which was given to the Pakistanis and Indians, same should have been given to the Kashmiris. United Nations resolutions simply say that this is the continuation of the unfinished agenda of the Great Divide of Subcontinent. That did not happen. With the passage of time, India started concentrating militarily, and slowly and gradually, today, when we talk of, as Professor Nazir Qureshi has mentioned, that this is the heaviest and highest military occupied and militarily concentrated area. It's not a statement not coming from a Kashmiri. New York Times main editorial mentions that the number of the occupying forces, Indian special forces, is more than 700,000. Ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine that the total number of Pakistan army is 600,000, and the Indian deployment in Kashmir, alone in Kashmir, is more than 700,000. The number of the innocent people who have been killed, maimed, tortured, butchered, molested, their dignity, honor and property has been taken away, the number crosses 500,000 people. 500,000, 500,000, more than 500,000. And the latest information which is available on the social media, that the last two children which were hit by the Indians, Asfa is at the age of 8 years, and Hibba, the last one, was hit by a pellet in her right eye. She was 18 months. Shame. So this amount of oppression and suppression continues in Kashmir with the rules known as Quota and Tada and Army Special Power Act, which has been declared, these laws have been declared by Amnesty International as unlawful laws. The term they used, that these laws are unlawful laws which are being exercised. Shoot to kill, shoot at sight, indiscriminate killing, extrajudicial killings, and it is almost it is physically, it has turned into a prison. Again, I am not quoting myself, I am not quoting anybody associated with the movement. Indian Foreign Minister Yashwant Sinha, in a recent live television interview, he was asked by somebody, confronted with a very serious question, that gentleman, Mr. Sinha, he was making some detailed statements. So the interview said that, Kabir said that, do you mean that are we going to lose Kashmir? So the former Indian Prime Minister Yashwant Sinha said, gentlemen, not that we are going to lose Kashmir, we have already lost it, I say. And this statement is coming from a very senior Indian politician and the former minister. That is the situation. The situational line of control, which has been mentioned by Brother Suhail Bashir, that one of the most active line of control anywhere in the world, 700 kilometers in length, each and every day civil population is being hit, and the internal displacements continue. So few things were mentioned. I am grateful that few contributions they were attributed with me as well. I suggested some time back while I was Prime Minister, I said the present highly militarized line of control should be reduced into a functional line of commerce, trade and travel, so that intra-Kashmir trade and intra-Kashmir travel should be facilitated. The families which are divided for last more than 70 years, they should be allowed. If North and South Koreans can meet, if East and West Germans can meet, if North and South Yemeni people can meet, why not the Kashmiris, that they have been deprived from their basic birthright? And again, one thing I would like to make it absolutely clear, that it is not simply a case of human rights, ladies and gentlemen. It is internationally recognized case of right of self-determination of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And when we talk about the Kashmiris, it applies in everybody, every state subject. It is not limited to the Muslims or non-Muslims. Because in Kashmir, we, the Muslims and non-Muslims, we have a unique history of peaceful religious coexistence. Exceptionally rare exception is there when we talk of Jammu and Kashmir. Because because a great famous saint, Shah Hamadan, when he came to Kashmir, since his time till today, 700 years, Kashmiris, all religions and sects, they have lived together like one family, and not a single small incident history can trace back that the rights on the basis of religion and ethnicity and language and areas occur there. No, absolutely not. We have lived like one family, and the best, the model of peaceful religious coexistence has been demonstrated in Kashmir for the last 700 years. So there is no such thing as you can be attributed to Kashmiris. So that has been the situation in Kashmir. So with this army, with these killings, with these tortures, with these gang rapes, ladies and gentlemen, it is not out of context to mention and share with you that according to the Indian media, as a responsible political worker, I refer to the reports published in some of the Indian print media that the youngest gang raped was of 12 years and the oldest gang raped lady was at the age of 70 years. Can you imagine what I am talking of? I mentioned about Hiba of 18 months. I mentioned of Asaka of 8 years. And now I would like to mention and repeat that 70 years old women, even he could not escape from the brutality of Indian army. When we talk of, it was a very good point, Brother Pastor Madir or somebody mentioned that we should have taken the matter with the international community. I am grateful. I understand the difficulty. In the presence of the Soviet Union, India would always, we were successful in beguiling and befooling the Western society in the name of communism. And in the absence of Soviet Union and after the dismemberment of Soviet Union, now the Chinese bogie is being sold in the Western market. All befooling and beguiling the people. Nothing like this. But India is talking of the containment of China. India has dozens of secessionist movements going on in the country. You can talk of Khalistan, you can talk of Assam, you can talk of Mizoram, you can talk of Nagaland, you can talk of Manipur, you can talk of Hyderabad, you can talk of Junagadh, dozen series of movements. And you know that coming years, some Sikh community, members of the Canadian cabinet, you find them, their advertisement on the social media, that they are organizing and they are going to participate in the referendum for Khalistan. So that situation continues. We the Kashmiris, we do not oppose, we don't have any animosity with India. We don't want to see interfere in Indian internal matters. We would never like to recommend any disintegration of India, because we have seen the dismemberment of Soviet Union. But our right of self-determination, our international community's commitment with us, today, it is something, it has become a nuclear flesh fight. It is not that Kashmir case is not the case of 50s or 60s or 70s. Now it has become a nuclear ring. It has become a nuclear flesh fight. If God forbid something goes wrong, it will not be going to be a conventional kind of a danger, because as you understand that India in nuclear state, China in nuclear state, Russia in nuclear state, Afghanistan, I have always called him as proxy nuclear state, that the NATO forces, all the forces sitting there backed by the nuclear cover, and Pakistan a nuclear state. So Kashmir is a nuclear, has a quite a position of nuclear ring today. So it is not as simple to leave it at the mercy of India. And bilateralism, when we talk of bilateralism, we must not forget that anything which is available on the United Nations agenda cannot be limited to bilateralism. And bilateralism in the context of India and Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, has never ever produced anything. Be it the creation of Pakistan and India, be it Indus Water Treaty, be it Khim Karantin, be it the release of the 90 1,000 prisoners of Pakistan after the battle of Dhaka, each and every step, both countries needed third-party facilitation. And essentially, initially, the case is not bilateral between India and Pakistan only. It is between Pakistan, India, and Kashmir is the actual sufferers. And the UN resolutions, they make all members of the United Nations international community member and a party to this case. And I thought from the feedback, the situation has completely changed. And at the same time, when we talk of global warming, we should not forget any adventure in that part of the world with these Himalayan 1,000-year-old glaciers and snow layers. So it is going to change the whole world situation. So I'm not be taking you, as I said, to unnecessarily details of the whole case, as you friends are, most of you are already a lot of information and sufficient knowledge. I'm grateful that Mr. Peter mentioned that today we are demonstrating solidarity with Kashmiris. I'm highly encouraged to know that now it is a great realization to our friends and colleagues and to the situation that the elected politicians of the Great Britain. Yesterday we had a meeting in the House of Commons. The Foreign Minister of Pakistan was there. President of Azad Kashmir was there. Jal Bandvik, the former Prime Minister of Norway, was there. And Kashmiri political leaders and workers from both sides of the line of divide were also invited there. So the was a resolution in the House, all parties parliamentary group on Pakistan and all parties parliamentary group on Kashmir, both were together. It was a very good, kind of initiative. At the same time, on the 18th and 19th, European Parliament is holding a hearing on human rights. In last October, British House of Commons has passed a very strong resolution condemning the human rights situation in Kashmir. United Nations Human Rights Mission, he has came out with a detailed statement which was endorsed by the Secretary General of the United Nations. And later on, most of you must have seen that the gentleman, while he was talking about the situation of human rights in Indian Kashmir, he could not hold back his tears, and later on he started crying in the United Nations. Some American talking about the situation, the gentleman associated the representative of Human Rights Mission. Initially he started some tears rolling down from on his cheeks, and then later on he literally shouted and cried while talking of the situation, taking stock of the situation of human rights in Kashmir. So that is the situation today, gentlemen. So simply, as Brother Suhail Bashir has very rightly pointed out a few things, I said that is more than sufficient. That way forward, talking of the way forward, there should be a resumption of the dialogue between India and Pakistan. Mr. Peter very rightly mentioned that the new government of Pakistan in Imran has taken a very bold, very wise and very timely initiative. Many, he is different from many other politicians. He doesn't have a baggage of the past like many others. With a new, clean, fresh state, he has initiated, and it was a wise step to facilitate the visa for the Indians. It was a wise step to initiate, to invite India to talk about Kashmir and other issues, Siachen and so on and so forth. And at the same time, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, a very highly experienced man, so he, in the United Nations and yesterday, and in many of his statements, he has made it clear that Pakistan is ready to talk on Kashmir. So the way forward is the negotiations. There is no military solution to this dispute. We have to go for the resumption of dialogue, but there must be some credible process. It should be evolved. Some mechanism should be evolved. A credible, time-bound process which should lead to some tangible results. Ultimate product should not be taken into account immediately. whatever the outcome, but the credible peace negotiation process should be initiated with the association, environment, and ultimately with the inclusion of Kashmiris. Initially, as a third party, we can understand that with two sovereign independent states, maybe we may not be able to set them directly, but the association at the initial state, then the involvement, and then ultimately inclusion, because bilaterally nothing can be solved. Simplification of the procedure of intra-Kashmir trade and travel, because it is such cumbersome and complicated that it takes months and years for somebody to see his family here and there. And at the same time, de-escalation, withdrawal of Indian occupation forces from the population centers, slowly and gradually, and creating a cordial and congenial atmosphere for negotiations and mediations and talks, and slowly and gradually moving forward. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you once again, because I have to leave some space for the first questions and answers. Brother Shiraz Khan was a bit in a hurry, so he did not wait for the questions and session. So he made it a part of his speeches. Yes, but no problem. We can take a few questions, because I'm worried, because we have to catch up another meeting, which is essentially we had to be there by 9. But this clock, I think, something has gone wrong. Maybe our patient temperament has influenced the watch. Because the Britishers normally, they are a couple of minutes advance, but this is 1 hour behind the time. So I have to catch another meeting, general meeting, and somebody mentioned, I'm grateful that simultaneously today, Mr. Imran, we had the invitation to join our foreign minister and president and many others. So I had choice was very difficult and limited, but I prefer to be here with you, and I'm grateful that cross-party people are here, and I believe that these huge sacrifices cannot go in vain. Sooner or later, because it is against the law of nature that you offer so many sacrifices and they don't produce any result. It cannot happen. Sooner or later, Kashmiris will get the right of self-determination, there will be a better situation, and they will get the freedom, their ultimate goal. With this, I wish you all the best, and once again, I thank you very much. Allah bless you all.